start? Where do you want to start?
I mean, I guess I'll put my thoughts on the basketball stuff.
Okay, because a lot of people
record.
were coming at us on Twitter.
Sure.
Saying old Dickie V circled the wagons on us.
Well, and look, we led yesterday's show saying that for the supporters of Vital, it was a good day. You know, I mean, when you looked around and you saw the news circling around Wade. Now, with 24 hours to digest it and able to dive in and read some of the stuff that's going on, I still don't believe that you have anything hard to show on LSU basketball and Will Wade. I will say this. Now that LSU football is involved in the conversation, whether it's an isolated entity or not, I do believe that the basketball program can become a sacrificial lamb in this whole scenario. And at what point does Scott Woodward, the LSU administration, say even without the facts and without the hard case, do you say, you know what, enough's enough? I don't know that. I have no insight to that. I would say you've gotten to this point. You know, if I was in the room, my recommendation, and I think everybody knows where my loyalty and my feelings lie. I mean, Will's a friend of mine first, but you know, I support him, and I believe he's the best basketball coach for LSU. What he's done in a short time for not only this fan base, this city, but the feeling around that program is something that that has not been seen in a long, long time. I'm talking about since I was a kid, it feels like. So I think it's very exciting times for LSU basketball, but there's a black cloud that continues to hang over the program's head with this continued investigation and dialogue back and forth with the NCAA and the athletic administration. So at what point does Scott Woodward and Stephanie and Verge and those people over there make a decision to say, you know what, enough's enough? I hope they don't, because I think that they will not find another coach as good as Wade or cares as much about the program as Wade does. So I hope that they continue to support their coach until anything factual comes out that shows that he put the program in harm's way and was not looking out for the best interest.
Yeah, it feels like you're committed at this point, right? If you already went through everything that you went through with the suspension and everything, then yeah, I'm kind of with you. Also, I don't know if making a move in the short term behooves you, because as you said, there is no, like the 11 players thing. That's what the NCAA Enforcement Committee is saying in order to get the IARP to investigate. But, you know, we don't still have any proof of any like hard evidence that they can draw or have brought to the table. So, I feel like you're already committed. You got to continue to just ride this thing out. Also, who knows how long this process takes, right? The next step is whether or not the IARP accepts the case, and do they allow LSU to separate football and basketball? But that could take months. Right, so I mean, you at least just roll through this basketball season where it looks like you've got a really good setup, and then make a decision later when you're forced to by the facts of the case rather than bad headlines.
I believe that the football and basketball cases will be split when it goes in front of the NCAA, because I believe in just the people that I've talked to that the football stuff seems to be pretty cleared up. You know, I mean, the Beckham stuff they handled pretty quick. They got the cash back. They went and they self-reported it. And, you know, that thing's kind of moving along. They took Ed Ogeron off the recruiting trail for 30 days after the impermissible contact with Jordan Birch. So they've self-reported and you pretty much, you know, self-punished themselves in that point. The John Paul Funes and the Our Lady of the Lake, the Vidal Alexander situation was in discussion and was being talked about long before, not long before, but before this Wade case became as highlighted as it's become present day. And what Schleybaugh is reporting yesterday morning about the 11 players, and this is coming from ESPN senior writer Mark Schleybaugh, as we told you in headlines, reported that LSU basketball coach Will Wade allegedly arranged for or offered impermissible payments to at least 11 potential recruits, according to NCAA documents that Schleybaugh obtained on Wednesday. The allegations were included in the enforcement staff request. An athletics department spokesman said that the university would not comment on Wade's status because it's a pending NCAA matter. To that, I would tell you that this is accessible now through the Freedom of Information Act that Brooks Kavina read, that he requested and was able to get the information on in a letter from Stephen Thompson to the NCAA, dated on August 18th. So just over a week ago, he makes reference to those allegations that Schlabach was writing about yesterday. And if they're real, allegations where there's hard evidence, well, then the NCAA has to show that to Will Wade's counsel and LSU. And as Thompson writes on August 18th, in the referral request, the NCAA now suggests that it has received information reflecting potential violations by Coach Wade and has requested an additional investigation. No such information has been shared with Coach Wade, his counsel. Moreover, if any such evidence existed and was credible, it assuredly would have been shared with the institution. Allegations levied and actions taken. None of that has occurred. People, this is a witch hunt from start to finish. If you watch the scheme, the same thing that happened with the federal government is happening to the NCAA. They have kicked the can on this investigation for a year and a half. They're looking around the room, and they're saying to each other, we don't have anything hard to put on LSU basketball or Will Wade. What are we going to do? We've got to win the PR battle. We've got to give the media some type of juicy story that they can put out there, that they can paint Wade as more of a cheater than we've already tried to do, because there's no hard evidence. They crawled up Javonte Smart's mom's every crack and crevice she had to try to find out anything of cheating that they levied on the Smarts. Where did they pay them? They showed up at her job. They showed up at her home. They showed up at his uncle's house. They showed up at his school. They showed up everywhere where Javonte Smart could have any impact or anyone around Smart could have cheated. They found nothing on Javonte Smart. They found nothing on Emmett Williams. They found nothing on Darius Days, who Leonard Hamilton at Florida State turned in LSU on because he couldn't believe that a 35-year-old coach came into his backyard and took him away from Florida State. He doesn't mind losing Darius Days to Kentucky. He doesn't mind losing Darius Days to North Carolina. But if Will Wade at 35 crawls into Tallahassee's backyard and gets Days to Baton Rouge, that doesn't make sense. I'm turning his ass in. They interview Days. They interview everybody around Days. They got nothing. They got zero. So they want to throw these 11 players at the wall. If Will Wade paid 11 players on the recruiting trail just freely and liberally like that, and they were off at other schools playing now, he'd have been fired 6 months ago. He'd have been fired a year ago. You don't think that stuff would have come out? And they're just going to throw 11 players at the wall without any names. Where, when, how? When did that happen? Who are they? Where are they at school now? You got hard evidence like that and you're not going to come with any names? Just another allegation? Come on, man. You're nearly 2 years into this investigation, and you're still trying to stick stuff onto the wall? It's a witch hunt. I know I'm biased. You know whose side I'm on. But look around. They got nothing. They got no hard evidence. All it is allegation after allegation. The notice of allegations will be there. The notice of allegations will be there. When? On who? For what? Where? None of it. They got none of that. Well, it was alleged. It was alleged you paid 11 players. It was alleged that he did this. It was alleged that they talked there. You got all the phone records. All that stuff you can read in the Freedom of Information Act. It says it right here. The 13 months that they're claiming that Will Wade delayed, Wade never received a request for his information until April of 2019, when they keep telling and putting out in the public it was December of 2018. It's right here written down with the emails to back it up. Wade sent his information to the data retrieval place that the NCAA recommended. That data retrieval place screwed it up. They sent it back to Wade's lawyer Wade's lawyer had to find the independent party to go through the 60,000 documents because Wade's lawyer kept telling the NCAA, hey, we can do a key search term for this and help you out. Just give us the names, give us the phone numbers, give us the people who you want us to isolate and give you the information on. No, we want every single phone record. All right, here you go. Here's 60,000 pieces of information that you got to go through and comb through. What'd you find after going through every single text message? Still allegedly he's paying players? Get the bleep out of here. Get out of here. Move on. Go find somebody else. You know what I mean? They went to Javonte Smart's house. Javonte's mom's still living in the same house that Javonte grew up in when he was going to Parkview 6 years ago. Not the house that Zion got when he went to Durham, where he's paying $5,000 a month was the rent in Durham's house, where he was paying $800 a month in South Carolina. That's cheating. We'll answer your food questions next here with Chef Michael Johnson.
Off the Bench with Culotta and T-Bob.